What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Of course, I want to talk to you guys today about Canelo El Cinnamon, Canelo Saul Alvarez. You know, he took some hard shots last night. I'll let the chat load before I begin discussing the possibilities, the future fights, the skill set of Canelo Alvarez. As we come in, guys, let's hit that like button. Appreciate everybody that struggled and stayed up with me, with the chat. Michael Sherlock, what's up, brother? Counterpunch from Dublin. Dublin is in the house. Cruise is 33. Hey, Kurt, what up? How you doing? Doing good. Just traveling home, man. Just traveling home. Slotello presents. What's up, brother? Amar Freeman. Canelo's the best in the world. Canelo's a bad boy. Yosef Mukhtar. He is the best. Canelo on points, but he deserved it this time. Hashtag Canelo on points. Cisco Badass. Counterpunch to you, brother. Live from Birmingham over the thoughts of the fight and who should he fight next. That's what we want to talk about. That's one of the things we want to talk about. This is all Canelo. Canelo, Canelo, Canelo. Amar. Keep up the work, brother. Absolutely. Appreciate it, brother. Do you think Canelo will ever lose again? He could. He could. He could. D-Town Blaster, what's up, brother? How's everything? How's the Sunday going? Man, Sunday's great. It's Sunday on Sunday, so everything's good. Everything is good. 36-year-old Floyd schooled Canelo, don't forget. Nope, never forget that. I cannot stress enough how much Canelo learned from the loss to Floyd. Well, I mean, he was a good fighter. He got better, but the style will always challenge a fighter. So you can't forget the style. You know, who has Canelo fought that had that same type of style after that? You can't say anybody. There's nobody that really fought like Floyd. Paul fighting Mayweather, is that true? Still, Pulse, yes, I guess. That's what they're saying. Hi, Kurt. Gordon here from Glasgow, Scotland. Canelo is a beast. He is a beast. Great counterpunch. Can't stress enough. Let's see. Greetings. Jose Antonio Delgado from the Bronx, NYC. Blessings to you, brother. Canelo punished him for 12 rounds. Carlos Gonzalez, he did. You know, Canelo, man, he's a short, stocky cat, you know. And he looks good at 168, but he didn't look fat or anything. You know what I mean? And, like, one thing about Canelo, what people need to understand, Canelo had Callum Smith, Mundo. He had Mundo coming in whatever weight the fuck he came in at. It wasn't any fixed weight or rehydration. And now to think of it, you know, it's safe to say, you can say that Oscar had a lot to do with that, you know, with the, you know, rehydration, but that just shows you something. If a man fought a 168 pounder, a big 168 pounder, like Callum Smith, could take the punches, which he took. There was a lot of punches that missed because Canelo was slick, good defense, head movement, upper body movement, good ring IQ, because he knew a lot of those punches. But Canelo stayed close. A taller fighter needs room to work. That's like, especially a guy that's rangy and lanky and rangy, and he's long like Callum Smith. Callum Smith would catch him on the end of the punch. That's why I knew. I said, you know what? This shit looks like Kovalev. But to Callum Smith's credit, he didn't go out like Kovalev. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't get knocked down. Was he hurt a couple times? Yeah, he was hurt, but he didn't get knocked down. Big shout out from England, counterpunch. James Pemberton, counterpunch to you. Best challenge for Canelo. Jim Brown, who? Is that Errol Spence? Is Errol Spence the best? Is he the best for him right now? Errol the True Spence? That was arguably one of the best performances in Floyd's career up there in Gotti and Corrales. Well, that's later on, and Floyd knew certain fighters. Just Floyd's IQ is just on another level. But understand, Floyd is a guy that he was an ex-banger. He was an ex-boxer puncher turned defensive pure boxer. That's exactly what Floyd was. Pretty Boy Floyd was a boxer puncher. He was a counter puncher, and he looked for openings. He was aggressive. As his hands started to deteriorate, he started knowing, hey, I can't use them like that. His gloves got bigger and bigger. That's why he went to Everlast, and the Everlast, he wanted those hands protected. But the irony of that is that that's what gloves do. Gloves are to protect your hands. So, he got better gloves to protect his hands, but he punched less. So when he did fight Canelo, no, he didn't go winging out at Canelo. He just beat him. He beat him like chess. He beat him like chess. You know what I'm saying? When Canelo was trying to play checkers, he beat him like chess. It's crazy. CPB 1. There was arguably one of the best performances. Okay, honestly, I don't care about Carnell. He ruined the sport. Who is Carnell? Crucis 33. Who can fight like Floyd? Will there ever be a fighter like that can fight? I don't think so. People will try to emulate it. People will probably be good at emulating it, but will they be as good as Floyd? But then the saddest thing about Floyd, how good would he really be? Because you're only good as the people you can beat. So if you didn't fight the series of the best fighters, you cheated yourself at the end of the day. He might have made millions of dollars, but at the end of the day, you didn't fight the people that to show everyone like, yo, Floyd beat him too. You know what? Floyd beat him though. Oh yeah, he lost to everybody. He beat everybody except Floyd. He couldn't do that in the later part of his career. He kind of went out like a sucker. You know what I'm saying? But he could brag and say, and then he has people to back him because he had a lot of fans. He had a lot of haters too. But a lot of people, a lot of fanboys will defend a guy for not fighting a guy. And don't even want the guy to fight. I'm like, damn, let him fight. If you believe in him that much, you're his fan. Let your fighter fight, fan. Fight, fan. Shit. Golovkin won the first fight. Yeah, he did. He did. I won't argue with that. I think he got beat by Lada. I mean, that's look, understand, Golden Boy had the top guy, and they paid, they protected, they did a lot to save the reputation of Canelo, because they know Canelo was that guy. They got the huge contract, they got everything, so they invested in him accordingly. They made sure nothing stood in that way of him getting bigger fights or having a certain type of reputation. They had vested interests. They couldn't let him get beat by a guy named Erislandy Lara. Hell to the no. And Lara's just sitting back, sticking and using the ring. And then, but did he beat Jacobs? Yes. Did he beat Triple G the second time? I think he could have been a draw, but that's a better scorecard. Who else did he beat? He beat Kovalev. Kovalev's washed up, but hey, he still beat him though. He destroyed Rocky Fielding at 168. He looked like a big buff cruiserweight at that time. You know, can he fight Bivol? You know, will he do those type of things? You know, Canelo got popped for steroids. Let's not forget that. Darnell Thomas. I was gonna bring that shit up. I don't want to come off like a hater, but we gotta look. Canelo, you know, do you think that was just meat or Canelo was like injecting something? I mean, according to some people, all the people do steroids. But I'll say this: people do things that they don't think that's illegal, or they think that will give them an edge. I mean, even a regular guy that works out like myself, I take fucking multivitamins. You know, like I use this NutriBio now. Has so many different shits in it. Look at all that. Now, what's the odds of this or something or some substance inside this bottle, inside one of these these pills, capsules, will have something in it? What's the odds of that? A very high odd. But would that mean I could beat somebody's ass more? You know, but you still have to train. Nice plug, Kurt. Tyrone Davis. Nice plug. Which one? I take hair pills. Now my back looks like King Kong's. Yeah, don't that suck, Jim Brown? So probably shit got biotin in it, and biotin makes everything grow besides your fucking hair. Great. How can he go up and down in weight and stay strong? He is obviously doing something. I was born ready. Felt that Danny Jacobs gave Canelo a good fight. Felt he did better than Triple G. Well, it was a good fight, but see, one thing about Canelo, if you notice, Canelo don't like redoing close fights. He doesn't do that type of shit. And then, see, the Golovkin fight had to happen because it was a draw. If they would have I guarantee you, if Canelo would have won that decision on the first fight, he would have not ran that fight back. He would have not ran that shit back. He'd be like, look, good, I won, now I'm moving on. So it was pretty much, that was forced. And he really didn't want to do it. Then he got popped doing something. You know, that's when he got popped. And, you know, Golovkin, I don't respect cheater fight. His fight's not clean. I don't like. He's no good boy to me. He's not a good boy. Comatose. Canelo really ain't as good as the attention he gets. I don't know. I think Canelo gets more protection that he doesn't need. That's what I think about Canelo. Because people don't really talk about him a lot, though. You know, I mean, if you talk about boxing, mostly, you know, you hear people talking more about Wilder than Canelo. That's a fact. Let's hit those likes. Let's get those likes up. And Wilder doesn't have near the skill set as Canelo, but he's just more talked about. He's more, you know what I mean, in this present day. Now, a few years ago, that's all you used to hear about, Canelo, but now it's not. The heavyweights are taking over. The heavyweights are grabbing the headlines. Canelo's done a good job and all. Don't get me wrong. And then he surprised me with the hydration, with the hydration allowance, you know. But I always thought that was so stupid. How you gonna tell somebody what the fucking weigh if they made the weight? They made the weight. What difference does it make? You know, you trying to tell a person what to fucking eat and how to eat. You know, no rematch. No, yeah, it's a hydration clause. I own your ass. You eat what I want you to eat. Fucking own you. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Do you think Canelo and Triple G will happen? I don't know. I don't really care. You know, I don't really care. Golovkin's old, and you know, the older he gets, and I think, honestly, De La Hoya, they held that fight off long enough, long as they could, just in order to, get Triple G a little older. Is the best in the world. Best. Matt Cedillo has a very good resume. He's fought Cotto. He's fought pretty much everybody except the Charlos and Pacquiao. He hadn't fought Adrian Broner too. You know what? Back in the day, I would like to see Adrian Broner take on Canelo. That would have been a good fight. You know, when all of them were like 154, 147, all that. You know what I mean? Every win Canelo gets makes Floyd's stock continue to rise. Floyd was calculated as he seen that what Canelo could become. He seized the opportunity. Well, Canelo was a hot prospect at that time. He was beating all of the leftovers of Floyd. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, you know, he passed the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper at the time was Floyd. Slight tendencies. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. 168-pound division is a joke. That's the best division has to offer. Embarrassing. Well, he ain't fought Caleb. He ain't fought David Benavidez. He ain't fought those guys yet. So I would relax. Because when those guys, when he fights someone like Caleb Plant is not and fights nothing like Callum Smith. Callum Smith is a 1-2-3 style type of fighter. He's very powerful and strong, but he has to catch you at the end of his punches due to the way he punches, the length of his arms. He needs leverage to land those shots. Canelo was already there. Canelo knows he was already, he gets mid-range, and then mid-range is his opportunity. So he stayed mostly mid-range. Matt Cedillo, Golovkin is fighting cab drivers and short order cooks on bingo night. She is done. I think Golovkin is fighting enough to fulfill the contract. That's all he's doing. Because, you know, he signed a pretty nifty contract, too. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Spence said he will go up to 168, just not for Benavidez. Spence is a weight bully. Well, Spence needs to come see Canelo. He needs to be like all the other guys. That Kovalev fight was fake. I think that shit was bullshit. I said it when I saw it. I was like, that didn't look right. You know, I got blasted, so what? That's what I think. I think Kovalev, he kind of stumbled a little too hard at the wrong time. You go back and you watch that shit. He gets caught with a left hook that he blocked. Then he starts stumbling. He let Canelo hit him. It felt like he let him hit him to me. You know, so Arlette, I'm with you on that. Maybe has been trash when he moved away. What would you consider to be Canelo's top 5 fights thus far? Well, the James Kirkland fight, he destroyed him. Rocky Fielding. Gennady Golovkin 2. He destroyed Mosley. That's when people really started paying attention to Canelo, when he took it to Mosley and beat the shit out of Mosley. Floyd versus Paul Williams is the fight that I wanted to see. Yep. That would have been a good fight. Spence is an idiot. I am sorry, not sugarcoating it if he calls out Canelo. He did call out Canelo. He did. He wants that DAZN money. You think about it. You run away from Terrence Crawford claiming to be the A side, but then you run to a bigger Canelo and you know damn well you're the B side. So yeah, he's doing it for the money. He's doing it for the money, and he's doing it for avoiding Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford would stop him from getting that money. That's it. That's all. What is Mikey Garcia going for Spence all over again? I don't know. If Mikey Garcia was such a badass, he should take on Terrence Crawford. Since he says Terrence Crawford runs all around, because, Crawford beat Mikey Garcia in the amateurs. And according to Mikey said that all he did was move around and run around the ring. And they went back and forth with that shit. But at the end of the day, I honestly think that Mikey should take on Terrence Crawford. Elbow attacking the left arm was very clever. Chris Serrano, brother, what's happening? Counterpunch to you. Canelo KO Spence easy. And then we get to see how tough Spence is. Spence can walk through those punches like he walked through Sean Porter's punches. Some of his punches anyway. Yeah, he's a beast. I mean, he's a beast anyway, but I just don't like what he's doing. I wonder how Canelo would have dealt with David Lemieux. Beat the shit out of him. He would have dealt with him by counterpunching the shit out of him. And then that fight was on the table until Lemieux got beat by Billy Joe Saunders. Remember that? Yeah. Slight tendencies. Please elaborate a little bit more about Fury's lawsuit. You talking about the Spotty one? Okay, well, the Spotty one is a little difficult because they're trying to, I think they're trying to give him an award or whatever, and then they're refusing to take his name off after he's already asked them. And the reason he wants it off is because Spotty was that organization that has the awards, which brought up a lot of that spotlight about that bullshit that happened. I think Tyson Fury, because he's had a history with them, he doesn't want their trophy. Let me put it to you like this. Let's say HBO Sports had an award for their athletes, right? But then HBO Sports was involved with some type of scandal with a fighter back in the day. Okay, the fighter back in the day was dealt with and banned and all that shit by HBO. So they were the reason, or they were the company or network that exposed that particular fighter. Okay, cool. Let's just say he comes back 5 years later. So that's exactly what happened with Fury. So Fury's like, yo, I don't want it to have anything to do with, first of all, my past. Second of all, someone that fucked with me in my past. That's what I think. It has nothing to do with anything else. I think if it would have, he would have hired a lawyer if it was that serious. You see what I'm saying? Who is deleting messages? I have no idea. Mosley Mayweather would have been a real fight, but in '99, but boxing politics later. That ain't Floyd's fault, though. That ain't Floyd's fault. Sugar Shane Mosley had something wrong with his foot or some shit like that, so he had a surgery instead. So yeah, he ducked that opportunity. He sure did. He sure did. But the problem with Bud is his resume at 147 isn't great. I mean, how can it be? Who the fuck can he really fight now? I'm guessing everyone now, because if Errol Spence takes that fight, he's going to move up to fight Canelo. Spence shows up at the DAZN card calling out Canelo, but when Crawford showed up at PBC, Spence got mad. I hate Spence. I want Spence to get knocked out cold. Hey, you might get your wish. Arlette, you may get your wish, because if he takes that fight with Canelo, boom, and he gets hit with the wrong shot, or he gets hit with a body shot that he's not comfortable with, it's going to be problems. Then a person like Canelo, if he finds out that I can't hurt Canelo, this is the only saving grace for Errol Spence if he went up there. If he went up there, let's just hope and pray the power moves up with him. So if he's a weight bully like people claim he is, he should be stronger at that weight. No one will fight Bud at 147. You know, a lot of those guys scared. They claim they want it and shit, you know. Brotherhood, are you the same dude that be on I know exactly how pads, rig, cards, catch weight, rehydration clauses. Paul Williams was the dude that was a 6'3" welter. Yeah, he actually was. Super welterweight. Guy was tall as shit, could throw punches like Harry Greb or some shit. Canelo gave less than I expected, and Canelo gave me more than I was waiting. Tyrese Blue, tithes and preaching the boxing gospel. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for your tithes and your offerings. Counterpunching you, brother. Appreciate you. But no, Canelo, good fighter. We don't know where he's gonna go really, but I can tell you this: he can fight anywhere. So I think if Errol is gonna fight Canelo, the best time is now. Not sit around on his ranch and all that shit. He could be at his ranch sending paperwork to Al Heyman and tell him, hey, make that fucking fight happen. Do some Floyd Mayweather shit. Man, I called Floyd, and Floyd told me, make the fucking fight happen. Georgia Canelo's destroyed dude last night. Kush the greatest. Appreciate you, brother. Envy. How would Kawasaki do? It would still be difficult, you know, because I mean, Joe Kawasaki was good and all, but then it's like, what would he do? You know, what would he do back then, or what would he do? Joe Kawasaki, what would he do with someone like Caleb Plant, with someone like Bivol, even? But Ford looks like a good prospect. Barry Kuti, you're absolutely right. And he got that stoppage in the 7th round, which surprised the shit out of me because I thought that was going the distance. He's a good fighter, but that Triple G fight scared him in front of fighting the competition. Maybe so. He ain't screaming, I want good fight. Now, he did say that yesterday. Canelo's good, but he'll never be better than me. Kurt, big salute to you, brother. Cordell Walton counterpunch to you, brother. I don't think Charlo at least easily. Yeah, I want to see that. I would love to see Canelo fight Charlo, then Canelo go up and fight Sweet Hands or something like that. Or something. Because, you know, he can do it. Is Danny Dubois the new David Price of moving forward? Jorge Fortes? I don't know. Too early to know. better be destroying Canelo. See, here's the thing. Canelo go up there and start wrestling with those bears. I mean, legitimately. You know? That's what we have. If Wilder Fury 3 happens, and if the same outcome, where does Wilder go from there? Not a lot, because it's not a room for growth no more. I know people are gonna be upset. Osborne got whooped again, and you're gonna hear a lot of shit. You know. Bivol would KO Canelo too. I want to see Bivol though. That would be a good fight. Bivol he's like a big ass Triple G, but just throws better combinations. Why are you hate Wilder? Orson Fleming. Why do I hate Wilder? I don't hate Wilder at all. How do you rate Frank Sanchez's performance? He has a lot of work to do, but he got the job done though. He did what he had to do. Knocked this motherfucker out of the ring. Big. Nicky Blue Eyes kind of punched to you. Wilder will KO Fury the next time. Watch. Bomb Squad. BBB reacts. That's his counterpunch. He has Wilder. Who else has Wilder beating Tyson Fury in the third fight? Ali, I'm not sure who wins. Canelo is the truth, in my opinion. His only knock is getting caught using PEDs. Yeah. Pero yo comer, pero lo siento por todo, pero yo comer carne de México, entonces yo pienso como nosotros tenemos este poquito droga en esto. No, motherfucker, you don't eat beef. Also, criticism doesn't mean you hate them. Grow up. Slide. Great counterpunch. Criticism, that's like the new butt hurt word for criticism. Oh, you hate. No, I'm not fucking hating. Though if he doesn't accept the first loss, doubt it. Wilder just had a bad night. What do you think Canelo? Who do you think Canelo fights next? I don't know who will fight next, honestly. I don't know what kind of mindset Canelo's in. Is he ready to take the best? Is he ready to get that fight with Errol Spence together? That should be something he's focusing on. Yo quiero pelear con Errol Spence. Nice card counterpunch. Appreciate you, brother. It's vintage. Bad. Wilder had a horrible night. I don't know why people want to see Billy Joe versus Canelo when everyone knows Billy will lose to Boo. I don't know. I'm not certain on if Billy will lose to Blue. Canelo is a world class, and to be honest, I don't think anyone but Plant gives him a run for his money. I'm with you on that. Benavidez, I mean, he's good, but I don't think he's better than Sweet Hands technically. I would rather watch a Benavidez fight over a Caleb Plant fight, but still, I think Caleb Plant is a guy that will jab and do all the right things, won't slip up, land his shots, and upset Canelo. He could. That's if the fix is not in. Kirk, can you speak Mexican? Speak Spanish. What about Mexican? You know, some Mexican words, I guess. Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn both sly snakes. It's like the old crusty snake versus the rehashed baby snake that's finding its body, all that good stuff. Wilder will win that third fight because Fury's gloves were checked. Okay. All I gotta say is, what if he doesn't fucking win it? He gets beat up again. I want you to remember that shit, though, please. But you know, this is a difficult time to train, though. You can't train unless you rent out the whole facility. That's what a lot of people do, besides people that have gyms that are already made at their house, you know? You could be Fury. Take that right hand away. Alexis, gotcha. Counterpunch of you. Good counterpunch. Boxing. Do you think Wilder can revitalize his career if the doping? No, I doubt that, because then it's a loophole, he'll be able to fight in the heavyweights. They don't have no league for those guys yet. The third fight even happening would answer a lot of questions I have. Fury Wilder 3. Yeah, it would answer some questions. Hopefully sooner instead of later, though, honestly. Do you think Wilder will ever fight again? Yeah, Wilder will fight again. He's looking for opponents now. Dizzle, whatever court has jurisdiction. Fury beats the brakes off of Wilder. You're asking why? That is why. Fury isn't dumb enough to take it to an American bias court. Never thought of it like that. Just watch the post. I was watching the post-fight interview with Canelo, and some of the comments people were saying, how comes Canelo understands English quite well but don't talk. What do you think of that, Kurt? That's what I was saying the other day. Canelo speaks better English than Golovkin. Now Golovkin can't even speak the shit no more. So that tells you he does speak English well. You know, I ain't say he was perfect, but he speaks English to the point like, yo, this dude is really this dude is really, intelligent. Some people, though, I think Canelo likes that interpreter because he just likes to freely speak in his own language. He shouldn't, and I think that would help him a lot better with the American crowd, but Canelo doesn't give a shit. And it just shows you how well his people take care of him. So Nikki Blue Eyes, this is a very good point. Yeah, he speaks English real good. Hello, Andy, how are you? He speaks like that, though. Canelo sounds like a mule when he speaks. Kurt, you think Mayweather and Dana White team up? They can. But if it requires Floyd to get in the ring, that's how they're gonna stop. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Me and Dana White, we're business partners, but there's no way I'm getting in the octagon. I'm not getting with these guys. You know, they do my thing, I do my thing, I did my thing. I was the best at it. So why would I be the king of one thing, try to come and take over a totally different sport? Absolutely not. That won't happen. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not even going to entertain that. I don't kick. I don't throw knees. I throw these. With Patty. I get Sean versus Bud. Why not? Why not? Kurt, me and my cousins think Wilder won't return to the ring. I don't know. He will. He has to. You don't talk that much shit about somebody cheating you and not come back to redeem yourself. He one hell of a fighter. That's Floyd. That's Pretty Boy Floyd. Because he sounds a little higher when he was younger. He's one hell of a fighter. That's what he does. But he can't beat me. And I just showed him. And I appreciate HBO for having me. Good man. Wilder needs a warm-up fight. Credit to Smith for sticking it out. Absolutely. You got to give him credit. You have to give this man credit. Because this man didn't have to do what he did, and he did. Boxing Logics United. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Blue in the building. You know, blue, yeah, like blue. Boxing Logic United, not Blue Blood Sports TV. You know, Blue Blood came on. You're speaking propaganda, and then he'll get off and then erase the shit. I'm like, yo, that was blue. Speaking propaganda, then he'll leave and shit. Huh? What? The loss definitely impacted Wilder psychologically. That's what they say. Legend of All Sheet. What's up, Kurt? Why, in your opinion, does America never support its own pro fighters from a country standpoint like Pac-Man, Canelo? I don't know, man. Well, I think some people do. It's just not a big enough number. You know? But you're looking at a country that's built from many aspects. So you're looking at a hybrid country. And ask why they don't like other hybrid people. You know? I don't know. Something like that. Real, I agree with you. Andrade and Canelo. That'd be a good fight, but you know. But if he can fight and beat Andrade, I think that'd be a good fight. Dizzy, what are you talking about? There was never initial ruling that later changed. Povetkin sued Wilder and won $4.3 million. You see, that's what a lot of people don't understand about that Povetkin shit. They went back and forth in court a long time. But at the end of the day, who fought who? Nobody. Wilder never fought Povetkin, never stepped foot in the ring with Povetkin, and vice versa from Povetkin. Never heard Kurt's Triple G impression. I want big fight, guys. I want Mayweather. I will go down to 154 to fight Mayweather. I want good fight. all elite fighters will beat White. He isn't that good. We'll see. Lopez Sr. and Diaz is the best. Yeah, you know what? I got to sit down and interview Teofimo again. You know, so I can hear him tell us and prophesy to us. Counterpunch, you Adam Cram in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch. After less than an hour on Monday, a federal jury in Manhattan ruled in favor of Wilder in a civil trial, finding that Povetkin ingested meldonium after a world anti-VADA ban of the drug. Yeah, I remember that shit. He took it after the fact it was already banned. It was like, well, you knew it was banned. How did shit end up in your system again? I don't know. I know, right? Yep, that's very old news. Another fighter didn't fight. And it's sad, though, because, you know, if he would have beat Povetkin, he would have had that on his record. Take Canelo out. Use a gun. Yeah. Take a 45 and bang! Settle it. No guns. I wonder what that movie is. You guys know anything about why don't someone just take a 45 and bang! Settle it. What do you think of Thurman next to move a fight with Ugas? That'd be a good fight, Thurman and Ugas. I would go for Ugas. Team Ugas all the way, baby. Goa. Oh, man. I think Canelo is... I think he's so good, you know. I love training with him. He gives me motivation. I'm just so thankful to God that I can fight with Canelo. I think him and Ryan, I think those guys, they keep me sharp. I really like working at this gym. This is just giving me so much motivation to want to get my belts back. I just thank God so much again. Oh, hey, Kurt, salute from PR. Do that, Luis. Luis Ortiz. Estoy listo. Estoy listo para Dillian White. ¿Por qué no? Yo estoy listo para lo que sea. Yo quiero una gran pelea, pero eres mierda para mí. Eres beach. Eres beach. Oh, man. Dillian White. It's funny. He'll be talking Spanish, then all of a sudden he'll break out with some English and shit. Pero él no sabe. Hey, listen, Dillian White, you're a beach. You're a beach. I pray that fight goes ahead. I pray that fight happens, because I want to see Luis Ortiz and Dillian White over White and Deontay Wilder. Because I mean, Deontay, cool, but Dillian White versus Luis Ortiz, that would be the fight I would want to see over that, because I think it's levels in boxing. It's levels in boxing, and when you see that type of fight, then we'll know at least this will be settled. It's a reckoning between these two guys. These two guys were supposed to be on a collision course a couple times, and it didn't happen for whatever fucking reason. So I want to see that. I want to see that fight over like White Wilder. Don't get me wrong. If any of those fights get made, I will be happy. But imagine the shit talk that those two guys that imagine Ortiz and Dillian White. Man, that shit would be funny. He don't even speak English. He can't even speak English. Hey, listen. Tú eres mamá huevo. See, he don't even speak English. I can see those guys tussling and shit. They'll probably have bad blood. Like, what has Ortiz done to be considered elite? That's the whole point. See, nothing, really. He's beat some pretty decent guys. Brian Jennings is the best on his resume, and Brian Jennings was a pretty good guy. He fought Klitschko for the crown. He went 12 rounds, but then Luis Ortiz shut him down. But then here's the thing. The only thing about Luis Ortiz that people can't fucking figure out is why would you duck a motherfucker that's that old? Counterpunch. That's what I've been saying. I'm like, okay, well, fight him. Like, dude, y'all, like, pay this fucking guy some money, and fight this guy. Fucking Andy Ruiz had an opportunity. No, I think that I need a tune-up first. I don't know if I want to fight him yet. I'll fight him later. Me and Eddie Reynoso, we're just trying to get a good tune-up. Like, dude, what the fuck you need a tune-up for? Fight this fucking guy. Porque tú necesito un tune-up. Porque tú no necesito nada. Eres mierda. Oh. White got a glass chin. Well, you know what? He just needs that uppercut to shatter that mother. Ruiz versus Kalinaki would be a fucking explosive fight. That would be a very good fight. I would love to see that too. Poland versus Mexico. That would be a good fight because they both like throwing punches, and they throw the same type of punches. I just think Ruiz is a little quicker. I just think he's quick all the way around. But that would be a good fight because I think it's Kalinaki. But here's the thing about Kalinaki though. Kalinaki, we don't really know. Excuse me. We don't really know how he's gonna react now. Because fighters tend to be a little apprehensive, little bit more timid, little bit just kind of. They're not gonna react as fast to throw a lot of punches. They're hesitant. Because they know now, like, I can be hurt. It could be a good thing or a bad thing. If you're sitting back gun shy like old Adrian Broner was, that's what happened to him. He used to go off and fight motherfuckers all the time. Phil Larkin watch Oliver McCall versus Lennox Lewis. To be honest, that uppercut could KO a damn rhino. I don't think anyone could take it. It's not that what makes Povetkin good enough. What makes it. Well, you know what? You got a point there, man. A lot of people be shitting on Dillian White. They didn't get hit with that fucking punch. That punch from it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I honestly don't know if now AJ's been hit with an uppercut from Povetkin. He has been, and he's been hit with quite a few. But was it that same velocity? But you know what? Me personally, I think this. I think Dillian White, he just can't take fucking uppercuts. That's it. It's that one punch that can land on that nerve, on that pressure point in his chin, that it gives in. That's what I think. I just think that. I've seen it. Fuck, it's evidence there. He just can't take that type of shit. Canelo would beat Povetkin. That's some crazy shit. He'll fight him when he's 43. I want Povetkin. Surge and destroy. Canelo has been busted for steroids how many times? Come on, dude is juicing for every fight. I always think that when people talk smack about chins, most of the people watching would be rocked by a jab from a heavyweight. Pretty much. People don't understand. It's a fucking punch to the face. You know what I mean? You know, he's got a glass chin. Well, shit. You know, having a glass chin makes it that much more dangerous, especially heavyweights. No, it doesn't surprise me that Errol Spence is fighting or wanting to fight Canelo, because he knows that I think he was preparing for this a long time, honestly. You remember, they've been talking about an Errol Spence Canelo fight for the longest. Because let's think back. Think back at when Oscar De La Hoya offered him $20 million fucking dollars out of the blue, which was stupid. You know what I mean? That was dumb. We'll offer him $20 million. Like, dude, you don't, you know. And then Errol Spence was right about this shit. He was like, "You never accept the first offer," you know, because that means, well, you're gonna give me more. That means what you started at. And if that was your ending price, why would you ever reveal what your ending bargaining price would be to fight somebody? You started with $20 million. What the fuck you think he's going to settle for? $20 million? No. He's not going to settle for that shit. You shouldn't. Bug out 617. What's crickets is about? What's that for? Halim, Boston. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's like freaking 65, 60, 65 degrees. Really close to 70. Very beautiful. Luis S., what's up, brother, from Miami? Dade County, 305 in the building. Ortiz was born in 1968. Facts. Put the facts behind this shit. Okay, bug out, crickets. All right, what did you ask? Wilder versus Porter. Canelo X Ace 99X. Canelo should fight Andrade. I think they've been trying to get that fight, you know, along the way, but it is what it is. Frank Torcios, he says, Canelo looks good against bigger, slower fighters. People don't understand a 200+ pound man, especially 250, can hit you with a KO shot. Yep, can hit you with a KO shot. I think Caleb Plant gives trouble to Canelo. Jay Rodriguez, I think so too. I think he's that guy that, you know, he's that one guy because, one, I think what fuels someone like Caleb Plant, he's a underdog-like guy because people thought Uzcategui was going to run right through him. Remember that? And he showed him that was not the case. I thought, man, Uzcategui's going to go land one of them crazy-ass hooks and take him out. No. He was dropped like 3 times, right? I know Easy Band's white privilege is called Lomo Fury. Wilder will get outclassed by AJ. AJ will put pressure. Hey, Art, you know what? Let's see. On Wilder. And Wilder can't handle pressure. That's what you saw with Fury. Well, Joshua can, he's a good enough boxer. He's a good enough boxer to catch him at an appropriate or a safe range. You know, you already know the jab is going to be one of the power weapons for someone like that. However, the scary thing about Wilder and Joshua's going to take it. He's going to be cautious because he knows one shot can end it. He knows that Wilder will come in with that type of punch. So since he knows that, he's going to keep him at bay with his jab and set up his own right hand. But he's not going to do that long. I think Joshua will find an opportunity to take Wilder out because Wilder is not a defensive. Look, the problem with Wilder is his defense sucks. Coming from somebody that can fight and can punch like Joshua, it's going to be one of those things. $20 million in a new card. Take the fight. Skrilla 50, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Caleb Plant is agile, and the more trouble you give him, the more he digs deep. Yep. Will Arlett, I'll say this. I don't know about all the racism shit. That's something, some whoever you're talking to, but if you look at fighters like Terrence Crawford and Vasyl Lomachenko, what's evidence is, look how Vasyl Lomachenko, how he's promoted and how he's talked of by his promoter, Bob Arum. Because racism is a case-by-case basis. You just can't say, oh, well, a group of people hate these group of people. No, it's people within that group hate certain people. So what happens with particular people in that group, like Bob Arum? You have to single them out. Bob Arum, when Lomachenko got beat once again, he was all for a rematch. Now, did he bring up any money whatsoever about making a rematch? No. He didn't mention anything, didn't bring up shit. Terrence Crawford wins. He's talking about, oh, how much money I'm missing and losing. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, that's Do you see the difference in tweet? Like, what's the difference between those two guys? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're from two different countries, right? They fight for top rank. They get paid by the same people, right? But they're two different skin colors. They don't look alike. So, yeah, I mean, for that reason, you could say some people treat black fighters differently. Bob Arum does. You know what I'm saying? Bob obviously does because of the way he's treating his two fighters. You've got Terrence Crawford, the best fighter in the world, and you're treating this man like shit, like he's fucking a second-class citizen. It's sad. Oh, D. Haas, I tell you who's racist, those Wilder fans. You know what? A lot of them are, including a lot of those channels. They're built around racism, but they're built around people that's supposed to be racist against them. So what they do, they harp out racism. Fucking crazy. I know. Let's get them back. Two wrongs don't make a right. You know? I hate people who have green eyes. Wilder goes for easy fights. He would fight AJ if it was that easy. Yeah, but they knew it was money involved. See, Wilder wanted to fight Joshua because it was money involved. He didn't want to fight for just any old money, a heap of money, because he knew that's my rival. You know, Nike is paying this man a lot of money. I'm Reebok and I don't get that amount of money. Well, the Reebok people, which is Wilder's people, they knew the risk in fighting someone like Joshua. Because if you fight Joshua and then you lose, you're just assed out. You don't have any belt. So they're like, no, we're going to hold on to that belt because he has all the other belts. And then see, it's like this. The more belts Joshua got, the more valuable he became. And that's just with the sanctioning bodies. That's not even including his country, the endorsements, right? The support from his country. Those things were other factors that involved Joshua. So as far as Wilder, they held on to Wilder, not for Wilder, because of the belt. They had something that Joshua wanted, Team Joshua. They wanted that. They wanted to do the same thing, but better than they did with Charles Martin. There's no difference between those two motherfuckers. I think Wilder was a little better. Well, he was a lot better because, he kept the belt longer. That's the only difference, but they were two champions. As far as Wilder, or Joshua was concerned, rather, Joshua was like, you know what? Let's offer him this. Then let's offer him that. They didn't stop negotiating. It just got dirty. The shit just got dirty. That is like a white person not liking Wilder doesn't make them racist. Maybe they just don't like Wilder. Maybe they just don't. People are really quick to pull the racist card. Because that is a very sensitive subject. Bob proves action is louder than words. LDBC, though. Eddie Hearn has worked hard in lockdown to make the fights. Yeah, he has. You don't have to explain your personal feelings on here. Just know that it clouds everything you do. Canelo is a beast. He knocked out anybody that comes up from 160, physically abuse anybody from 168. Well, he couldn't knock out Caleb. Does Fury get a pass for popping dirty? He's just like Big Baby Miller. Easy bans. No, he does not. Easy bans. He does not. When did he get a pass for fucking cheating? Answer that question to me. Please. I want to see Usyk and Joe Joyce. Jonathan Simon. That's a good fight. Very, very good fight. I would like to see Usyk and Wilder fight. That'd be a good fight. Why aren't PBC making Martin Wilder right now? Well, the question is stranginess. Why stranginess? Why didn't they make the shit 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago? But it's more to that shit though. You know, Wilder just had a dog shit team and he wasn't smart enough to realize it. That's it. And that's been his whole career. He's not smart enough. He was worried about being loyal to guys that promised him a bunch of shit that they never really gave him. And if when he got it, everyone else already had it. M Dizzle. Some more than others with the LDBC. It's some that, you know, I just can't stand because, you know, they try to personally do shit. But I mean, nothing really is other than like Blue Blood. I don't have nothing against Blue Blood. I think he's one of the hardest working guys besides myself. You know, from giving his particular subscribers content. You know, if not more. He does a lot of videos. And I know I do 50 a week at least. You know? So yeah, he's a hard-working dude. I gotta give him props on his work ethic. But do we agree on everything? No. You know. But do we disagree on everything? No. We don't. Like in certain things, I'm like, okay, that's true. You know, I mean, I'm not that type of dude. I don't look at it like that. But I know there are channels that's within the LDBC. There are way, whatever, you know, they're way off the rocker, you know, and I just don't, you know. I mean, a lot of them I don't follow, so I don't really know. You know, I hear certain channels like, oh, that one dude, Kurt, you know, Counterpunch dude, I can't stand him. Okay. You know, I don't watch you, so people would have to tell me that they don't like me. You know what I mean? M Dizzle, no problem. Okay, there's no PED stigma that follows him. They were just comparing him to Ali. Easy bands. Okay, I get what you're saying. You're saying, why doesn't he get that same stigma? I get it. Well, for one, I'm going to tell you why. This shit's been 5 years ago. It ain't been 5 years for fucking Miller. It ain't been 5 months. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the dude is fucking got popped this year and last year for some shit, like for the same shit. Then he blames it on the dick pills and stuff. Blames it on his slong. So yeah, I mean, that's what you have. Whereas Fury did some shit 5 years ago, and it just shows you the hate that he gets because it's only a certain group of people that don't want you to forget about that. Like, what is it? And that's probably the only reason you're talking about Tyson Fury with drugs is because you've heard someone just recently talk about him being dirty. When was the last time he was fucking dirty? 5 years ago, over 5 years ago. So like, what are we really talking about? You know, let me see. Shout out to the Wilder Channels United. I know, right? I mean, that's the only people that are trying to bring that stigma to Tyson Fury, or the people that don't like the idea that Tyson Fury beat Wilder because they are Wilder fans. But it just shows you the desperation and the energy they put behind that type of shit. It's funny as fuck. You know what I mean? But it's sad. You know, but I think it's hilarious because you know, like, oh, he was in fact cheating with Martin Carefoot. Like, dude, Martin Carefoot, dude, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You guys are still talking about something that happened over 5 years ago. You know, like even Martin didn't get paid. Mr. Carefoot they didn't care to fucking pay Mr. Carefoot. You know what I mean? But obviously somebody paid the motherfucker. You know, if some hush shit went down, somebody paid him. Somebody definitely paid the guy, you know, because he shut the fuck up. So his thing wouldn't have been honest because he was a lying piece of shit anyway. His thing was, I need to get paid. Oh, my palm's itching. Oh, shit. Tyson Fury's a champ now. I need my fucking money. What happened to my 25,000 pounds? You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Breaking news, Canelo wasn't tested. He's a cheater like Tyson Fury, so don't denial it. Ah, wow, I didn't hear that. Okay. All right. Who the hell is the gay mafia? I walk this earth like a god. Wow. Kurt and myself standing would be an Ebony and Ivory song, but it is about respect, not culture. The man has honor in his opinion. Yeah, I mean, you gotta be fair about shit, man. You know, and shit, at least try to be. Oh, Rivas versus Charles Martin would be a good fight. Yeah, Fury, yeah, he does. Yeah, he has a lot of, he kicked Ellie Setback out of his interview one time. Fucking Ellie Setback. She kicked his ass out. You don't have an agenda. Blue blood does. There's a difference. Hard work without honesty and integrity is BS. Ade. Raheem. Counterpunch to you, brother. I can't, can't argue with it there. So I'm not going to. Rivas takes Martin unless Martin's got a lot better recently. Yeah, he has, I think. He's been working with Manny Robles, and I think Manny is showing him some stuff. Canelo did drug testing, as Eddie said before the press conference fight too, but Barbershop Conversation just posted a video saying they didn't do testing, and his evidence is no tweets on VADA testing. I don't really know what drives those guys to worry about Canelo, but I think what they do is they try to discredit one fighter to amplify another. See, as long as Canelo can't get credit for his victory, and on those channels will attack the integrity or the marketability of another fighter just to amplify, like Wilder. See, they come after Canelo like that because Canelo is like considered the face of boxing, right? So they want to feel the narrative that Wilder is the face of boxing. So what they'll do then, anything that Canelo does, they got to have something to throw in there, you know. The LDBC confirmed Callum Smith loaded his left bicep with an egg weight to intentionally break Canelo's hand. No, I haven't checked out the Tyson Fury scandals on part 3. Kurt, Canelo versus Billy Joe, same result? No, it wouldn't be. Billy Joe's a much better fighter. Southpaw stance, bigger than Canelo, better reach. I mean, obviously Canelo's good at fighting taller fighters, so anyone that's taller better watch out because Canelo's experienced enough, especially at that weight class. He's either gonna beat you up or he's gonna stop you. One of the two. So it's up to those guys to keep him back. No. JB Davy. No, I'm not a Star Wars fan. So yeah, stick fighters are a nightmare for Canelo. They are. Absolutely right. They are a nightmare. You know, because Canelo, he likes people to be in front of him for a certain amount of time. He's a great counterpuncher. Don't get me wrong. Canelo's very good. He just didn't need the bullshit from Golden Boy. That's why I'm glad he's not there. You know, because I think as long as he was with Oscar, Oscar was protecting him from every angle. You know what I'm saying? He was the guardian angel of Canelo that Canelo didn't fucking need. Canelo never needed a guardian for anything. He never needed that extra protection. If he lost to Lara, okay, fight him again. See if you can beat him again. You lost to Mayweather, so you've already lost. So what the fuck? You already got a draw. Now you got 2 draws. He has 2 draws and a loss. You know, he's fighting a lot of particular people. When you fight different styles, you're going to get upsets. Or not even really upsets, because Lara and Canelo coming into the fight, it was a 50-50 fight. That fight was a fucking, it was a popularity contest. They did not care to see Lara punch him in the fucking face. Every time Lara did, they were like, ooh. Look at that fight again. You'll see, you know, when Canelo punched, it was a fucking popularity contest. Because at the end of that fight, Canelo did not look like he won, because he knew he didn't. But he knew, you know what, it's going to be okay. One of the best, what was it, All Access was Canelo Lara. That was probably one of the best. Carl Froch should sit down somewhere. He's been out of the ring. He's going to get his fucking new nose broken. Fucking with Canelo. I agree with you 100%. Canelo didn't need the De La Hoya protection. He didn't. He didn't need the De La Hoya protection plan. He did not need that shit, because it made everybody look at him as a prima donna, you know. And then if he start doing other shit on top of that, that really made him look like a fucking bitch. So, you know, I don't know El Tasty if he could. I mean, he could compete, but I don't know how good he would be. But then again, who's up there to fuck with Canelo? Skrilla 50, you're a huge fan of Lara? I used to be too. I mean, he's still winning, and he's just doing it off the boxing ability that he still has, but he's not the same type of fighter. If you notice, he's getting hit a lot more because he can't move. Lara has long arms, and he uses them. He had good legs. I think his legs are getting older. And he could catch you from the outside. He could catch you coming right in, you know, and he doesn't waste any shots. And I think that was a lot of problem with the judges. Now, when Lara was score, he could score, but he's not going to land punches like Sugar Ray Leonard and land a flurry of punches to prove to judges that he can win. So that's a lot though, because he's too much of a perfectionist. He doesn't believe in throwing a lot of multiple shots. He just wants to be very accurate in the punches that he throws versus the ones that he lands. I don't know who's Lara fighting next. But see, Al Heyman's the kind of motherfucker, well, if, let's say, Errol Spence goes to 154, he will take on Lara. You should have had him fight Lara fucking 5 years ago. Matter of fact, Lara called out Keith Thurman when Keith Thurman couldn't find an opponent. Lara's like, come to 154. I'll fight you. Yeah, he gave Canelo a boxing lesson. He knows that. You know, in the protection plan of Oscar De La Hoya, they did not want to see that shit again. That's what that was. You know, so that's a lot though. You know, he will always be that guy. You know, and if you notice something about Canelo's his reel, right? When they're showing his flashbacks of his fights, they never show any clips of him fighting Lara. You always see the fucking Austin Trout, you see the Cotto, you see the fucking Angulo, you see maybe Jacobs, Triple G, but you do not see a Erislandy Lara nowhere. Because it's fucking hard it's hard to try to find Canelo that looks good versus Lara. You know? Well, fuck biased UK boxing fans, lying cocksuckers. Crazy title, dude. I think what happened with that, Abel Sanchez ducked that fight. See, Abel didn't want Lara. He said Lara wasn't a good enough draw, but look, Lara was just in a pay-per-view with the guy that you're trying to fight, because at the time they're trying to fight Canelo, but they didn't want the Lara fight. And now me looking at that fight, that would have been a bad fight for Golovkin. Why? Because when he did fight Canelo, Canelo boxed Golovkin the first fight. Now did Golovkin, catch up with him with jab? Sure, he did eventually. He evened that fight out. And I think he just outworked Canelo, but Canelo was hard to hit him with certain angles. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, he would never hit Lara. He would never hit Lara. Lara would fucking play with Golovkin at that point. Would he hurt? He'd probably break his hand on his head. Yeah, but that's a good reason why Abel Sanchez didn't want that. Abel Sanchez knows a lot about his fighters versus other fighters. Okay, he did the same thing with Joe Joyce when Joe Joyce, another guy that ducked Ortiz, wanted to fight Ortiz, and Ortiz called him out on it. Who did what? Abel Sanchez. Nope, we're not ready for that right now. So there's another guy that ducked Ortiz, old as he is. The commentary on DAZN was brutal, was it? I didn't hear it. I was doing my own. Just more Cuban mistreatment in boxing. It is. A lot of people don't see that, and a lot of people turn a blind eye. And then see, the problem with the LDBC is, okay, they won't talk about that. They briefly did the Lara thing, the Lara and Canelo. They thought Lara won in this, but it wasn't an ongoing thing like they're doing with Wilder. They talked about this shit 9-10 months. You know what I mean? But where's that energy? Where was that energy then? Why don't y'all sign petitions and shit, or try to get it overturned, or turn it into a no contest, or go on the behalf of Lara to ask why this didn't happen. That was an Al Heyman fighter, so don't go there. You can miss me with that. They didn't use the same energy. Counterpunch. Calzaghe would have beat Ward. That would have been a good fight. I don't know who would have won. Both skilled. Calzaghe, though, he probably would have outworked Ward, if anything, but Ward will fight you. Ward will mix it up with you. That's one thing I like about Ward. Ward ain't gonna sit back and just allow you to shoot your wad. No, he's gonna fire back at you, with you. The Jocks Mix, what's up? Counterpunch from France. Is that France? Counterpunch to you, brother. Hay versus Ward at heavyweight. That'd be a badass fight. That would be a fight I think Ward should have took. Pancho Villa. Everybody schools Wilder before getting knocked out, except for lately. So I don't see why it's just a big deal. I mean, Fury beat the shit out of him, but he just hurt a guy that couldn't recover. So if he couldn't recover, he couldn't throw the punch to knock him out like he normally did. That's why Wilder is a guy that probably you need to stop the fight with him, because he's always going to have in that back of the mind, one punch, that's all I need. One punch and we go home. One punch and we go home. That punch doesn't happen. He still gets his ass beat, though. That's some scary shit, because you don't want to. That's why I think it was wrong with JD's. It was like, well, no, I don't want to just throw it in, because Wilder can do it. Wilder can do it. Mark, stop. Wilder got this. He's bleeding all over the place. Stop. Wilder got this. Yeah, I mean, that was a good fight, but look at Wilder's face. But anyway, guys, this has been a great live stream. I got to wrap it up. Just made it to my family's place, so I'm going to hit you guys tomorrow with some more live content. Stay tuned for more videos, of course. But everybody on the chat, be safe, and you guys have been counterpunched. Peace.